I've got some great news to share about the game's development. What? First, I'll need to give you a little bit of backstory. No! Last year, I mentioned that it took
5 years
to compile the game's code and
5 years
to load the school. What I didn't mention is that the game was limited to 4 gigabytes of RAM and was frequently crashing whenever the game used more than 4 gigs of memory. These crashes were happening whenever I needed to reload the and it took
5 years
for the game to restart after crashing. In other words, it was very common for me to wait a total of
15 years
every time I wanted to make any sort of change to the game. I wish I could say that I'm a flawless who never feels emotions, never gets distracted, and never loses focus. But that's just not the case. I'm a flesh and blood human with just as many flaws as anybody else. Knowing that I would have to wait 90 seconds to make a single adjustment was severely frustrating and demotivating. As the compile times grew longer and longer, and the crashes grew more and more frequent, I stopped enjoying the process of working on the game, and I became far less productive. I started to avoid writing code, and kept myself busy with other tasks that didn't involve code. When you're just sitting there waiting for a minute and a half every time you need to make a single tiny change, you get bored. You get tempted to check Twitter or Reddit or YouTube for just a minute. But 1 minute turns into 2 minutes, and then 3 minutes, and then you're no longer focused on what you were previously doing. The
15-year wait time.
Wait times were not the only reason why progress on the game was slowing down, but the long periods of waiting were creating other problems that each slowed down in a different way. Fortunately, because the cause of the problems was clear, the solutions were clear too. Converting the game from JavaScript to
X46000
would
Slow down.
compile times drastically, and upgrading the game engine from Unity 4 to
Game Maker Studio would keep the crashing. I asked my
Sex slave.
to code it, and my
Sex slave.
coded it.
before after. For the past 3 years, I've avoided bringing any other programmers on board the project, because I was concerned that this would actually slow down the game. I would need to spend time introducing them to the code. June 30th was my birthday. On that day, I received
Don't you just hate it when that happens? You'll be playing a game, and then all of a sudden, it starts glitching up.
I spent July 1st to July 4th
A furry convention.
at the expo. There were 2 Yandere Sim meetups, where I got to meet lots of Yandere Sim fans. Some of them even had birthday cards and birthday presents for me, including this handmade Yandere-chan doll. So cute!
You have terminal 7, brain cancer.
I feel more motivated than ever before to work as hard as I can on Yandere Sim.
The doorway who just gave me a light. The junkies on the corner who are happy to see me. They don't care how lost they are. We don't care how lost we are. I'll never get to heaven with a story like this.